Why do we start everyone laughing?
Why are we sitting so close? That's what I want to know. And why do you still have like your screen protector like on your laptop? Like how many years is it going to be before you take that off?
It's perfect now, isn't it though?
See, okay, here's the thing about the screen protectors. Like you're like, okay, I put the screen protector on because I want my screen to be perfect. But then you're living with, I get it. You're living with a screen that's like all bubbly and not quite see-through.
I don't ever have my laptop open. This is the first time I've ever used it as a laptop. It's attached to 2 monitors.
I feel like you're full of a lot of excuses right now.
Hi.
Maybe we should talk about chicken salad and what constitutes a chicken salad.
Never stops.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Boss Up and List Live. Today is Wednesday, so that means we have our Boss Up and List virtual listing party, which is an all-day listing party that takes place on the Boss Facebook group. So if you're not in the Boss Facebook group, you are missing out. Basically, every Wednesday morning, I put up a thread there. You can all go and check in, set your goals for the day of how many you want to list, ask any questions you have, and generally just hang out, have a good time. And then we do our Boss Up and List live show at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Although right now, we're doing it at 2 p.m. Eastern Time because we are currently in, where are we?
We're in Rhode Island.
We're like Cranston, Rhode Island?
Cranston.
I'd never heard of Cranston until I was in Cranston. But it's a nice little town, little city, I guess. Yep. Anyway, and apparently all of the towns and cities in Rhode Island are basically like right next to each other. There's no in between. Mm-hmm. Pretty much like you're driving through a neighborhood and you're like, I'm in Cranston, and suddenly you're like, oh, I'm in West Warwick. There's like no, which is weird because I'm from Oregon and it's like you have to like go through the country to get to the next town.
Yeah, that doesn't exist here. There is no country. Rhode Island is under 50 miles end to end.
Yeah.
If you drove straight through, which you can't do, but if you did, it would be end to end.
The weather, Hickory Springs wants to know how the weather is here. It is, well, it's actually perfect. Like temperature wise, it's pretty nice because it's been raining a lot. So it's a little bit humid, but not too bad.
Yeah, it's
like in the 60s right now.
It's in the 60s, maybe 70-ish. It's sunny, but it's a little overcast. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to rain for the majority of this week, which is
it's okay.
What else is new? Come home. There's always a weather disaster.
We live in Vegas. We get to have sunshine all the time. So it's not, I don't mind having a little bit of an overcast
But
time.
it's a little humid and it's nice and green. Mm-hmm. It's really green. Lots of trees and flowers. Yep. The spring flowers and trees are in bloom. So
we've been eating lots of good food, but we were having a discussion earlier because one of the things that Vicky was really excited about was she was going to have like her favorite chicken salad. She's like, oh my God, this chicken salad. I have to get this chicken salad every time I come here. And it's like at the grocery store, it's chicken salad. First of all, I look at this. I'm sorry, guys. This is like they took chicken. Okay, first of all, it tastes okay. It tastes fine. But it's basically they took a bunch of chicken. They put it in a blender with some mayo.
It's not in a blender.
Okay, well, they didn't serve it in a blender. But this is what it looks like, okay? I call it like chicken pate or chicken paste. It seriously is just blended chicken and mayo. And I'm sorry.
It's not blended.
That is
a little ridiculous. Maybe in a food processor.
There are no bits in it.
There are sometimes
a food processor is basically a blender, okay? Anyway, there's no chunks of anything. It is just
it's not like liquefied.
It pretty much is, guys. It's a paste. You could spread it on your toast, okay? That's not salad. That's not chicken salad. I told her, you got tuna. If you eat a tuna fish sandwich, you open your can of tuna, you mix some mayo in with tuna, you put it on your sandwich. That's a chicken sandwich, or that's a tuna sandwich, okay? Then there's tuna salad that has stuff in it. That's what makes it a salad.
Listen, I'm just saying.
So whatever you're eating,
it's called.
It's not a chicken salad.
Chicken salad. Anybody from New England, if you happen to be watching this, Willow Tree chicken salad, tell me it's not the mom.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Anyway,
Rhonda says get a lobster roll. We had
a lobster.
Oh, so and here's the other thing. So we had lobster roll, right? And somebody made some comment about McDonald's like having lobster, and she's like, "Oh, McDonald's gross." Okay, I am gonna get us a lobster roll from McDonald's, and here's why. Here's why, guys. Because I've had a couple lobster rolls now. I had one back in Vegas. It was from that food truck, and you said that was like
very authentic.
Very authentic. Okay, and then I had one here, and basically, like, yes, it's delicious lobster, right? And it's got a little bit of mayo in it, and I think a little bit of celery.
Yep.
And then it's put on, she calls it a Frankfurt, what do you call it?
It's a Frankfurter roll. It's a toasted, it's not a hot dog roll. But it's also not a piece of bread.
It doesn't look, to me.
It's not a flat piece of bread.
To me, all it looks like is a piece of white bread.
I'm going to show her in the grocery store what they look like. Yeah. But it comes in a package like a hot dog roll.
Sure.
It's just shaped differently.
It looks like it's got a crust and it's white. It looks to me like a piece of white bread. It just does.
All right, whatever.
So my theory, and we're going to test it out, my theory is that the one at McDonald's, they're still getting the lobster locally. Like, it's not like they're getting the lobster from China. It's a regional thing. So I'm assuming that the lobster's going to be more.
Why would you eat it from McDonald's when you can get it down the street for like $5 more from a nice restaurant? You get
it's just a test. I just want to try it out, because in my mind, it's probably the exact same lobster you get anywhere else. And it's like the other place, it's just a white piece of, basically it's just a white piece of bread that's toasted. So we're going to test it out. We're going to see if the McDonald's lobster roll
holds up to the regular New England made.
I think it's a worthy test.
All right.
Anyway, good afternoon from Flippin' Hustler.
Let me see here.
Heather says if it has nuts, it would be rooster salad. Wah, wah, wah. That's like a slightly dirty dad joke right there. Yeah. It's a special roll. See, I'm gonna have to look more closely because it doesn't. The very first time we got one,
so see who knew that it was a special roll. Who
brought it?
See, yeah.
Anyway, I am feisty, Hickory Springs.
Over here.
Oh, did we disappear? No, I don't think we disappeared. I think that you did something.
I didn't even touch it.
I think it was probably your fault. Yeah, I am feisty. I'm very feisty.
So rude today.
Anyway, so we've been here since yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, not quite 24 hours yet.
Yeah,
we like 19.
We went to bed last night at 9:30. 9:30 Rhode Island time, which is 6:30 our time. That's how tired we were. Like we're just gonna go to bed. But then we got up at like 6 o'clock here. Well, you were up earlier.
I was up at 4:30.
But I got up at 6, which is still like 3 in the morning our time, and we're now on East Coast time, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll be totally fine. Yeah, especially since everything closes. They like practically roll up the sidewalks anytime after 11 during the week in Rhode Island. So, you know, there's no point staying on West Coast time because shit all day.
Big Drift predicts that the lobster will be ground up much like the chicken salad and formed into a roll. We're going to test it out, and I will document it, and we will get back to you guys, and we'll show you what it's all about.
It's going to be like the Coke Pepsi challenge. I'm going to see which one if she can tell.
That's what I should do. I should go get one from
a real lobster roll versus
Iggy's that we went to last night. I'll go get one from Iggy's. I'll have both of them. I will blindfold her and I will give her a bite of one, and we'll see which one's better.
I'm gonna know. But it's all about the food, East Coast. So we've got to have a lot of lobster, a lot of good foods this week. A lot of Italian food. Italian food is real good here.
Yeah, we have like meal dates like morning, noon, and night here. So.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's pretty much it. That's how I catch up with my family and friends while we're here. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner dates.
Pretty much. But we still wanted to make sure we stick to basically the same schedule, which is why we're here doing this today, because we want everybody to still be doing the Boss Up and List listing party.
We brought our stuff. We're going to list a little.
We didn't do any listing yesterday because obviously we were traveling all day. Right. Vicki was kind of sick on the way here, but she's feeling much better now. I've gotten a few listings done today. We'll probably do like a couple more, just, you know, later on. We both did like enough pictures and measurements that we could at least list a couple or a handful every day. We did not. Now here's something for you guys, in case you don't know how to deal with taking time off or going on vacation. There's a few options. Okay. So if you go on vacation, if you have a store, and this is probably one of the very big things about having a store, you can actually set your store to vacation, right? So, and that's even with the new starter stores that are only like $5 a month, or I think they're like $7.99 or something like that a month if you don't sign up for a full year, and like $5 a month if you sign up for a year. You can put your store on vacation, and that way, if anyone is shopping in your store, there'll be like a little notice at the top that says that you were away.
The seller is away until date, X number of date. Your article will not be shipped until then, or whatever.
Now, here is something that you need to know, because a lot of people, I've seen this happen so many times. People put their store on vacation, they go away, and suddenly they have a thing saying like, oh, something was purchased in your store and you need to ship it tomorrow because your handling is only 1 day. You would think that when you put your store on vacation, it would automatically change your handling to when you get back, right? Wrong. You need to change your handling even if you go on vacation. So you need to make sure that you count it's only for weekdays, so Saturday doesn't count. You got to count how many days you need for handling. Otherwise, you're going to have a whole bunch of late shipments and you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So that's one way to do it. Go on vacation, change your handling time. The way we do it is we don't go on vacation. We just change our handling time. So when we left yesterday morning, Monday night, we changed our handling time. Now it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then it jumps to 10 business days. It kind of sucks. You can't go anywhere in between 5 and 10. So because it was going to be 7 days, I think 6 days.
7.
We had to do 10 days. So we did 10 business days. And then as soon as we got up this morning, we changed it to 5 because now we're down to 5 business days. And then every day we'll go and update our handling one day.
Yeah. So basically I had someone contact me Monday right after I had changed everything and said, I really want to buy this item, but it looks like I'm not going to get it until the end of the month because it extends the handling time by 10 days. And then it adds whatever your delivery day time frame is, 3 days or whatever it might be.
So it's telling some people like, you're not going to get this till June.
She's like, could I get this before I was like, listen, if you buy it tonight, I will ship it tonight. It'll go out tomorrow. I just changed this because I'm going on vacation and blah, blah, blah. So I gave her, she's like, okay, thanks. She bought it right away. I shipped it before I left. So it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, so it just looks like, I'm selling a lot of used things. I don't think anybody needs their 1990s Levi's silver tabs within 24 hours.
But for some people, it's a deal breaker. I'm definitely one of those people where it's like when I decide I want something, I want to get it as soon as possible. So it does bug me when it takes forever.
Yeah.
So I get it. So our sales definitely have slowed.
Oh, yeah, I haven't sold anything.
I've sold a couple of things. I think I'm up to like 150, but
it's better than no sales while you're gone.
Have slowed down, but for me anyway, it's better to not go on vacation. It does kick me out of the, you don't get your top rated seller discount
on the items that you sell.
Just for those items you sell while you are out of, not compliance isn't the right word, but while you're not fulfilling all of the requirements.
Yeah.
But as soon as we get back to 1 day handling, we'll be totally fine. So that was a really long-winded way of saying like, here's how you do it. I just know I've seen so many people list like, hey, I went on vacation, I put my store on vacation. And now I've got all these late shipments. What do I do? So I don't know why they do it that way. It makes no sense, but you just gotta.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if I get questions, somebody just mentioned you can't answer questions that way, and you're right. Some questions you're not gonna be able to answer. I have one question, of course. I got one question yesterday on something that I do not have the measurement on. They wanted like a strange measurement on a piece of clothing. Now I can, fortunately for me, I do have Dana back home who is house sitting and dog sitting for me, that I could probably ask her to pull the item and measure it. But I just responded to the customer and said, listen, I'm out of town. I'm not gonna be able to get you that specific measurement for like a week. If that's not okay, sorry. If it is, then I'll answer that when I get back.
Yep.
Not a deal breaker, a $25 item, whatever, it is what it is.
Yep. So we're doing our show today. We are still gonna do our haul show on Sunday. We're gonna do it, it's gonna be super early. We're gonna be doing it at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Which is way earlier than we usually do it. So it's actually going to be West Coast time is going to be 7 in the morning.
We probably won't have a lot of watchers.
So Allison, you better get up early. It's going to be like, I don't remember what Alaska time is.
They're even earlier than us. I don't know.
No, they're even earlier than us, I think. So I think for her it's going to be like 6 a.m. on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we went to One Savers today. I only got a couple things. She already has more than enough to show off.
I may have to ship a box home.
Yeah. So she really.
We brought an extra bag on purpose, but I may have to ship a box home.
And
hi, Barbara Colson.
Oh wait, Cammy.
Oh no, she was saying hi. The other Victoria. Sorry. Hi, Victoria Smith. Hi, Barbara Colson.
Cammy James has a question. When people cross post to Posh and eBay, I hear you need a what? A white background for eBay and a pretty rugged. So here's the thing, I don't know anything about Posh.
Neither.
eBay does not require any specific type of background, but they do suggest that you do a white background because a white background is Google search friendly. I think Google won't put up the pictures
if it's in a dark background.
Yeah. So if you
so Allison's saying it's 10:15 there, which means she's an hour before us.
She's an hour.
Vegas.
Yeah, so it'll be so we'll be on at 6 a.m. Allison, set your alarm.
You're gonna be awake on Sunday, 6 a.m.
Set your alarm. So the white background, it's not an eBay requirement, but if you want to make sure that your stuff is being seen by as large an audience as possible, you want to have that white background because it is going to make it more likely to show up in the Google search. And there are a lot of people these days who, when they do their shopping, they don't necessarily go to a specific site. And here's the thing, I do it. Like there's certain things that like I'll just go do a Google search, then I'll click on the shopping thing.
Yeah, find a couple.
Because I want to see like what's available, like nearby geographically, and as well as what I have to. Like, so people do that. So you want your stuff to show up.
And I have seen that people do the whole on Poshmark. They do a lot of. They add accessories, or they do a pretty rug, or they put a plate, or they put all. I don't understand what the whole plate thing is, but whatever. I have seen that. I don't sell on Poshmark, so I really can't speak to it. Of course, it looks nicer. I think it's pretty, but I understand. Etsy's the same way. Etsy make it look a little bit nicer. Put it on a mannequin. Put some accessories with it. Put it on a person. Modeling clothing on a person is terrible for eBay. but it's great for some of the other sites. So, you know, I guess it really depends on that site. I'd have to know more about it to comment on that.
So Dorothy made a really, really good point that it's good for eBay's Shop the Look.
Yes.
So, okay, so we don't know yet. I don't think Shop the Look is available yet.
It is. Well, not the look, but it's
okay. So this is something we learned about at Open last summer. And I don't know how active this is yet, or if it's completely rolled out.
On there.
Is it?
Yeah.
So the idea behind Shop the Look is that, so I'm out hanging out on the night on the town, and I see a dude with some fly boots, and I'm like, I like those boots. Those boots are awesome. And then I go and I can take a picture of the boots and be like, hey, dude, hold on a second.
Image search.
You hold on to your pants.
Pants I'm wearing pants.
I'm wearing pants too, guys. Anyway, you take a picture of it, and then the idea is that you can search the image or shop the look with your eBay app. So the reason that's important when it comes to white background is that you want, you want your picture to be as recognizable by whatever I don't know how the algorithm works or whatever. You want it to be very clear so that when somebody shops the look, it will hopefully find your boots. So if your boots have like a busy background, and then there's like a fancy plate behind it, and then there's like a plant over here, it's going to be really hard for whatever, you know, computery stuff they're using to.
So it is. It does work now. If you look under the on the eBay app and it says search for anything,
you can show the.
You can
the little camera that's next.
Press
to it.
the picture for the camera.
You should be able to do it.
You can choose something for from your gallery.
Yeah, or you can.
It says image search or barcode scan. So image search, you can either take a photo or search from your gallery. So I just took a photo of, like, say, the mouse.
Let's see if it works.
Next to my computer. And so you can, like, and of course it's on the mouse pad, so it's not a simple background, but you hit OK.
But most people are shopping are thinking about that.
Right. When you search.
Oh, there you go. See, guys?
It came up. The second one down. Even the first one matches because it had a black background, kind of. So
yeah, and it probably recognized the
logo,
the Logitech or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's a really cool program that they're doing. So again, the clearer, most recognizable you can make the picture of your product, the better, because you want people to be able to do that. It's just kind of cool techie stuff.
Yeah. So let's see. We did have a couple of questions.
Oh yeah.
Lorna says, sorry, she loves us, but she will not be up at 6 a.m. on Sunday. I don't blame you.
Lorna, for you, it'll be 7 a.m.
Yeah, I wouldn't be up for you either. But I have a bunch of stuff to do. Here's what happens. This is my hometown. This is why we're in Rhode Island. We're in my hometown. We're staying with my best friend right now. And I'm introducing Katie to everyone in my family and all of my friends that she hasn't met yet.
A lot of pressure, guys.
Yeah, no pressure because they already love her. But I am pretty much booked. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, post-dinner for 7 days straight. I don't want to say I'm popular or anything, but I'm kind of popular. No, anyway, so we have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of people that really love me that I'm very fortunate, and we want to try and spend as much time with them as possible. So I've got a lot of things that are scheduled that we're working these shows around.
Yeah, so. But like I said, I wanted to make sure that we still were doing, you know, most keeping things going, keeping the content coming out. Yeah. We did go today. We went to Savers. Tomorrow we're going to spend some time. We might go to another Savers after the show. Yeah. And then tomorrow we're going to do. There's like 4 or 5 Salvation Armies in the area. So I want to get some stuff because, like I said, we're going to be doing a haul show on Sunday, and
we may not hit all of them. We're probably not going to shop the whole day, but. Hey, there's a lot of places I want to show you in this city, and it's not going to be Savers and Salvation Army.
Yeah.
So we're going to hit a little bit, get some shopping so we can do the haul video. But anyway, so we have some questions. This is pretty much going to be our live Q&A show.
Yeah, we're just doing a Q&A. So
seriously, we're improvising for like the next 40 minutes.
Yeah, so we got a couple of questions from the thread I put up earlier, the Boss Up and List thread. But please, you guys, if you have any more questions, like we will answer anything, whether it has to do with listing or I know Allison, you had posted a question, and I wasn't entirely sure if you could be a little, like, I guess, give us more information about what you're looking for. You were asking about item specifics and categories and stuff when you're listing, and so if you could comment over here and let us know like what exactly your question is, because I wasn't completely sure. But anyway, if you have any questions, whether it's about listing or whatever, or life or lobster rolls, I don't know.
Whatever, we'll answer.
We'll answer. Yeah.
We're pretty open people.
We'll answer everything.
Let me see what else is here. Yeah, is Brian Burke in New Hampshire? How far is New Hampshire from here, Robin? New Hampshire is about 3 to 4 hours. Yeah. Honestly, if he were here the week we were here, we probably would have tried to go make a meetup group up there. But yeah. So New Hampshire, it depends on where in New Hampshire. It's a big state, but you've got to go drive all the way through Massachusetts to get into New Hampshire, and there's no Massachusetts.
Teresa Cox, who is the amazing, awesome leader of the Boss Facebook group. She's the boss of the boss. She's actually in Washington, D.C. right now. Every year, this is something you guys... At the White House, guys.
Meetings at the White House.
Meetings at the White House. So,
not exactly with the head Cheeto in charge, but she is at the White House.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys may not know this, but eBay every year does a D.C. fly-in, and they get sellers from all over the country to go as representatives of the rest of us. And they get to go and they meet with members of Congress and talk about stuff that applies, that's going to affect us as sellers online. And so like this year, a big topic is like the whole internet tax thing. Like I'm sure you've heard some talk about that, about having small sellers having to charge sales tax for all the different states in the country. And, obviously that has big implications for us as sellers. I will say because some people said, well, this will ruin small sellers. This will ruin us. We won't be able to sell anymore online. Okay, I won't go that far and say that would happen. If it were to happen,
they'll figure it out somehow.
We were needing to collect taxes. eBay would basically have to figure that out. I mean, Amazon, if you're a seller on Amazon, I don't collect taxes. There's a few things I sell on Amazon. I don't collect taxes for somebody who buys in Florida, whatever, I don't know what the Florida sales tax is. Or Amazon does that, right? And that's probably why Amazon has significantly higher fees. So would we still be able to sell on eBay if a law were passed where we had to collect all those sales taxes? We'd still be able to sell. eBay would have to figure out a way to do it for us. There's no way that they would be like, hey, you seller, you need to come up with how to collect the taxes for all the municipalities and all the counties,
and you have to file tax returns of
that's not going to happen.
Tax returns a year.
More realistically, what would happen is that they would have to figure out a way to do it, much like how Amazon does it, and then but the cost of that solution would be passed on to us, and we would probably have to pay higher fees. So yes, it would affect our bottom line.
Affect us. Yeah.
It would definitely affect us. So we certainly want that. We certainly want that to not happen. We're hoping it won't happen. But that's something that eBay sends people to Washington, D.C. to speak on our behalf and try and let lawmakers know, hey, I'm a small seller. I sell for eBay. Here's my story. They're going to personalize it and say, this is how it would affect me if this were to happen. So that's what Teresa's doing, which I think is super awesome that she got chosen as a representative of us, because I couldn't imagine anyone else being able to do a better job. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And do we have any other questions?
We have some other questions. I'm trying to hear. I can't hear.
I got it.
I got to scroll. I'm sorry. I'm blind. We're trying to do this. Normally we have 2 monitors set up. Right now we just have my laptop and
they got my little tablet, my little baby Chromebook.
So I apologize. I'm blind as a bat. I'm trying to read the questions. Okay. So one of the questions was, are we planning our wedding? We kind of are, but we're not doing it here. So that's not what we're here for. We've been planning, getting some ideas back home. We're pretty much looking at October, November-ish of next year, not this year,
2019.
But
we got to save up some money, guys.
Yeah, we're not doing the drive through Vegas thing. So no Married by Elvis.
No.
But we're gonna figure some stuff out. But we're trying to do it, get some ideas now. But no, not here. I probably have a lot of friends and family that are gonna fly out for it, but it'll be a good time. We'll have fun.
Yeah. So it's a Euro Extreme. Doesn't make sense to have to pay taxes on used things in vintage. Well, and here's the other thing, guys. We need to be realistic that as shopping shifts from brick and mortar stores to online. Now, just imagine, I think 48 states collect sales tax. I'm from Oregon, which does not have a sales tax.
No Oregon, no New Hampshire.
But the majority of states have a sales tax, right? And so in the last, I would say, 10 years probably is when there's been the biggest shift from shopping in brick and mortar stores to shopping online. So that's a massive, most states probably have taken a massive hit as far as tax revenue. But they still have stuff they have to pay for. So, I mean,
they're still paying for infrastructure.
And, people who have a store with thrifted items in a brick and mortar location, they're paying sales tax. They're collecting sales tax and they're paying it. So there is going to come a time when there's going to have to be a solution to that. And most likely it's going to cost us more money, but that is part of the cost of doing business. and hopefully it won't be to the point where we won't be able to operate. And I'm a hopeful person. I'm generally optimistic, so I'm not worried that my business isn't going to be able to function, but it's definitely something I want to keep an eye on. And I'm glad I have somebody like Teresa there representing us.
Exactly.
So somebody had a question. I think it was Robin had a question about Sizely, and somebody else was asking about Sizely too. I think it was Dorothy. So first of all, Sizely, Dorothy had asked about putting Sizely in her description as opposed to putting as a picture. I would advise against putting pictures in descriptions. The likelihood that somebody's going to actually look there I think is much lower. The nice thing about the new version of Sizely, which is the paid version, and again, Sizely is our sponsor, so I'll just give a shout out to Sizely. Woo, woo, woo. I love Sizely. I've been using it for over 2 years. Before it was a paid site. Now it is paid, very minimally so, but it's an awesome resource to use, an awesome tool to use to show measurements to hopefully keep the returns down. But anyway, the great thing about once they went to paid is it used to be that I would have to use 2 pictures for my Sizely because I felt it was really important to show centimeters, not just inches. So I would do one that was inches and one that was centimeters. So that left me with only 10 pictures. Now they have it so you can put them both in the same picture. So I only use 1. So that does leave me with 11. Now, I mean, to be honest, with clothing, do you really need more than 11 pictures? I don't think you do.
Sometimes,
I mean, hard
yes.
goods, almost never do I use all my pictures. Hard goods, I get it. You have to show a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to do it with 11.
Sometimes you do, but it's generally like, it's not something you would sell. It's something like a really unique vintage piece of clothing where you've got to show the inside stitching.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
I think 99.9% of the time.
But I just started using
You're fine with
Sizely.
1 picture. I mean, with 11 pictures and use that. Put it in your pictures. That's what I would say. My advice would be to put it in your pictures, not in your description. I don't know what effect that has on the whole, what active content. I don't even know what the active content thing is because it never was a issue for me. But I don't know. The other part of the question was about the watermark. If you are paying for Sizely now, you actually do have the option to remove that. Mm-hmm. So as long as you have a paid level that you should be able to remove that completely. eBay did have a whole thing about the watermark thing, but then they took it away, that requirement. I don't know when it's going to come back or if it's going to come back, but I think it affected too many sellers negatively who put watermarks in their pictures. So currently there is no rule against watermarks.
But if you're using Sizely, there's a little box that you can check that just says
yes.
remove logo.
I have it in mind. Maybe I should start removing it. Maybe I'll ask somebody at eBay to get better information about that. I would love it if eBay and Sizely would actually come together and that could be like integrated into eBay. It would be awesome.
Yeah, it's a good tool. They really need to have something like that. I mean, it's a great company. It's still a fledgling company, obviously, if you're talking to the owner all the time. Hello, eBay, if you're listening. Get in touch with Sizely. Buy this app from them.
Hopefully Eddie from Sizely is going to be coming to open. So
yeah, it's a great tool for clothing sellers. Really,
I love it.
It would help eBay. It help it cut down returns and everything. So I think it's pretty cool.
Oh, okay. So Big Drift, you both mentioned breaking down listings into size, color, etc., in order to make it easier for buyers to find items in your store. Well, yeah. Okay. So here's the thing about using the item specifics. If you ever notice, like when you do a search for any item, right? Let's say you're looking for a women's, I don't know, what's the style of dress? I don't know, women's summer dress, whatever. You type that in, right? Then you can go down the side and you can click on the size, you can click on the color, you can click on the fabric content. If you're like insistent it has to be 100% cotton or something like that, you can click on all those things, right? So I don't know if you've ever done that. You can do that. So basically narrow your search down. So that's what's happening when you're doing your listing. When you're filling out those item specifics, first of all, you want to make sure that you're using as much as possible. You're using the options that they give you. I've gone, because I do a lot of sell similar, like when I list my stuff, I'll do sell similar. And then I will, a lot of times I can see what other people have put in for their item specifics. And man, some people like type their own, and it'll be like this percentage slash, this percentage slash. Okay, you basically completely negated having an item specific. You want to go with as much as possible, with your fabric content. You want to click the little thing down below. It'll drop down and it'll say 100% cotton, cotton blend, polyester, whatever all the options are, right? If you possibly can, make sure you're choosing one of those options. Same thing with color, same thing with size. I've seen some people say like, it's a large, but could possibly be a medium. Like they literally put that there, like they type that as another option.
No one's ever going to see that crap unless they click on your specific thing.
Exactly.
I think partly what she's asking is breaking down her listings into size and color in her eBay store. Like we told her to do more items into I'm not taught. She's
more categories like that.
Categories in her store.
It's not going to have anything to do with your categories. Your categories and your item specifics are two different things. Right. Although categories do help. I mean, personally, I make my categories to be as close as possible to how eBay does their categories. I wish there was an option where you could just say copy categories, because it doesn't really make sense to make up your own. But I guess people like that flexibility. So I
like having my own.
Yeah, so that's more about like when somebody goes into your store, they can click on, like, I think right now you have like menswear and women's wear. So they would click on menswear, and then there should be subcategories that say like men's shirts, men's jackets, men's pants. And you can go even further and say, like, I just do men's pants, but you could go further and say jeans.
I have mine by size.
Whatever.
I don't have them by category. So I have like men's pants sizes 28 to 32, and then sizes 33 to 36. And then, you know, that's how I have mine broken down. The way that you do that is when you're on eBay and you're listing on eBay directly, when you go down to choose your store category, there's a drop down there. And I know that you already have a couple of store categories. Allison, I'm speaking to you specifically. I know you have a few store categories, but on the right-hand side of that, next to the drop down, there is an add category drop down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you would type in and create a category.
Yeah.
For your store. It's not going to show anywhere on your listing. It's going to be in your store.
Just when they're looking in your store. Now, I will say that when I personally go in and look at somebody's store, I actually don't like searching people's categories. I will just go to, I like click on their username and just look at other items sold by them, because then I can use eBay's categories. So that in that case, it's still really important that you have those item specifics, because then I can click on white or orange or whatever color I want. Or, you know, you want to have all those item specifics like totally filled out as much as possible, because it makes it easier for people.
Like I have a ton of categories. If you want to go look in my store, that'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Katie has fewer categories than I do because she sells a specific genre and fewer items. I have like 150 categories and subcategories.
Yeah, so her store, I actually have linked down in the description. So if you want to go look at her store.
Just to give you an idea, I mean, not that you need to copy me. Everybody's different. Everybody's inventory is going to be a little bit different, but it'll give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And don't judge me, because I do still have some in other. Some things don't fit into a category, and I don't want to create a whole subcategory just for them.
Yeah.
But
and speaking of Sizely, again, if any of you want to try out Sizely, again, they are our sponsor. So I do have my little link down below. So I would
are really easy to use.
Yeah, I would much appreciate it that if you're planning on checking them out anyway, if you could go through my link, because then I do get the credit for it and whatnot, which is great because that helps with the show.
Only her. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm not giving her anything.
But
come on,
whatevs.
No,
I like Sizely. I just started using it last week, and I'm a creature of habit, and I don't like changing how I do my listings. So for me, even writing things down to take with me to do take listings and do them remotely was weird for me.
It could be like
life changing.
New world.
Could be. She's always going to sing. She has to sing at me 10 times a day. But yeah, I like it. I started using Sizely. It took me a little bit longer in the first 5 or 6 listings because it's a different step. I've got to add a step. So, but in the long run, it's going to be a shorter thing than typing out all of the measurements.
So speaking of that, I think it's a good segue into another question that we had back in the boss group. There was a question about how free returns are going for us. We sell different things. There's some overlap, but we've had very different experiences so far with the free returns. So let's get into it. Let's get into the meat of it.
Get into it.
What has been your experience with free returns?
So as soon as the free return option became available, and I talked about it on eBay Radio, and I talked about it on our show here and there, I jumped on board and I opted in as soon as possible. Most people don't need to opt in until June, and then you can choose whether to do it or not. It's going to be required for the Top Rated Plus discount. If you don't care about the discount, or if you don't want to offer free returns, that's your business, and you just won't get the Top Rated Plus discount on the items that you don't offer the free returns on. I said, well, what the hell? I might as well try it and see what happens. And so that I can at least get into it and get used to it, and I won't have to bulk edit anything. I went in and changed everything. So it has been, 6 weeks now?
Something like that.
About 6 weeks or 7 weeks now. And here's what I will say. I sell about 50% women's clothing and 50% men's clothing as far as my clothing categories. And, a bunch of hard goods in there too. So I'm pretty split down the middle. I will say my returns have always hovered under 3% total. And as of right now, my in returns have increased to 5%. Now in a 6 or 7 week period, that's really not that much of a difference. It went from, like I said, it was like 2.8%, and now I'm up just about over 5%. On your seller hub, it evaluates the past 90 days. So at least for me, it evaluates 90 days. I think it depends on how many transactions you have. Some people, it evaluates a whole year. So for 90 days, I have had 5% return rate on 500 and something items. A little high. I'm going to be honest. I will say every single item, with the exception of 2, were returns on women's clothing. So as of right now, the amount that I spent on returns versus the amount of my 10%, discount is very close. So one hasn't outweighed the other yet. Too soon to tell.
Now, you did say, though, that you've sold a lot of them already again for a higher price.
I do take them back in. I list them at a higher price, and I've sold a good handful of them at a higher price that absorbs both of those, both of the fees. So I think 6 weeks is a little bit too short of a test period to determine what something's going to do long term. I have to say I need a longer sampling, 6 months, maybe a year.
So we'll keep talking about it.
Yeah, we'll keep talking about it. Realistically, there was a 1 week or 10 days where I swear it was like every third item I sold, I got a return on. It felt like. So I mean,
that's not totally out of the ordinary in and of itself. Like, returns do seem to come in waves. It's really weird. Yeah. Like, you'll go weeks with nothing, and all of a sudden you'll get 3 in 1 week.
And all women's. I mean, I had 1 return on a men's item and 1 return on a household item, which had nothing to do with size or anything like that. If they were going to return it, they would have returned it anyway. I mean, sometimes you're just going to get returns. Yeah. And both of those 2 items I actually resold for higher.
Right.
So, it's tough to tell. I don't know yet.
It's true. Now, so starting June 1st, free returns will be required if you want to get your 10% top rated plus discount. So if you are a top rated seller and you want to keep that 10% discount, you will have to have free returns, right? So if you're thinking about trying it out, you might want to wait till June 1st, because as it is right now, you can't differentiate between domestic and international. I went ahead and did free returns on everything.
Me too.
I'm not too worried about it.
International.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I do think, whether or not free returns down the road turn out to be good or bad or whatever, I do think that it's kind of silly to make a business decision based on no information, just your decision that it's something bad. And I think there were a lot of people when it first came out were immediately like, this is going to ruin my business. I'm going to lose all this money. I'm not doing it. And I'm like, come on, guys, let's try it out. So here's what we would advise that you do is at least for the first month in June, Now, of course, this doesn't count if it's like all you sell is super heavy stuff that costs like $50 to ship. We get that certain items
not going to work for you.
Certain items should not be free returns. We get that. But
let's say about 10 things that I don't offer it on. Yeah, like dishes and heavy crap. I'm not paying for you to return something that costs $75 because you don't like the color.
But stuff that can go first class, stuff that can go in a padded flat rate envelope, stuff that's like relatively cheap to ship. Try out doing free returns for at least a month. Look at how much you usually get for your 10% discount. And start to weigh that and kind of see, and you can get an idea without losing a crazy amount of money. When you do get returns, relist them for a higher amount. Now, I sell all men's clothing, like 99.9% men's clothing. So I haven't really seen any change in my returns. It really hasn't been a problem for me. And so obviously it's going to be different from person to person. I did have one thing that I got returned. It was that kind of, it's like this Brooks Brothers vintage tuxedo style dress coat, I think is what it's called. I sold it months ago for like $100. It got returned. It was buyer paid return, so it got returned to me. I relisted it. I sold it again a few weeks ago for $110. It got returned again. This time I had to pay for the return. Luckily, it fit in a padded flat rate mailer. It got returned to me again. Relisted it. A couple of days went by, and then just before we left on this trip, I sold it again for $175. So I think my biggest advice would be forget about focusing on transactional, on each transaction, because when you look at things transactionally, you're gonna be like, I lost money on that, and freak out. Okay, you need to look over a period of time. You need to think about like
big picture,
like what the real cost is to you.
Like it's your average cost of goods.
Right.
It's your average return on investment. It's, there's going to be a cost of doing business.
Yeah. Like it might turn out that she spends as much on return shipping as she gets for her 10% discount, but she's relisting them and selling them for more. Plus, because eBay is requiring it after June 1st for top rated plus discounts, clearly they're going to most likely, if you have free returns, you're going to get a little higher in the search. So it's going to negatively affect you if you don't do free returns in one way or another. my guess is that overall, as a seller, you're going to be better off offering them.
I mean, do you have to like it? No. But again, it's like every time there's an increase in a fee or an increase in a price or something changes and it means we have to change our business, you have to adjust. You have to move with the times and stay with the times and what the buyers are asking for, or you're going to lose sales.
Once upon a time, people would get their Sears Roebuck calendar or their catalog, okay?
Catalog once a year.
Laura Ingalls would look at her catalog and she'd be like, I want these lace-up shoes. I'm going to spend the 75 cents on it that I earned over the last 6 months. And in roughly 12 weeks, I'm going to get my new shoes and I'm going to love these new shoes. And that was acceptable to buyers in that time. Yeah. Then eBay started. We jumped forward.
We jumped from Laura Ingalls to eBay. There was nothing in between.
No, nothing in between. Then we jumped forward to what, 95, 96, whenever eBay started.
Something like that. Yeah.
Whenever eBay started. And people were like, hot diggity dog, I can go on this thing called the interwebs.
And they still said hot diggity dog.
Hot diggity dog, I can go on the interwebs. I can find this cool, Pantera t-shirt, I don't know, from their first concert. I'm going to send my check by mail.
The seller's going to hold it for 10 days, make sure it clears.
In roughly 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, I'm going to get my t-shirt. And that
in the mail from a stranger.
And this is the best thing ever because before, I never would have found this unless I went to a local thrift store or a yard sale. So people were really stoked about that, right? Well, guess what? Today, buyers don't want to wait like that. They want to PayPal you their money, and they want to see that it's shipped out the next day. And then in 3 days, they want to be opening up that package. And even that's not fast enough for them, okay?
And now it's wicked fast.
It is
so
wicked fast.
Can you throw wicked in this convo? I say wicked all the time. So, and I'm from Rhode Island, and clearly that's our vernacular.
But the bottom line is that things change. And yes, it's more work for us because buyers have different expectations, but we're buyers too. I know I expect things to come faster. I know I expect that. I know I don't buy from somebody who doesn't do returns. I know I don't buy from somebody if they're going to charge me a bunch to return it. That's how I am as a buyer. So is it more work for us? Is it going to cost us a little bit more? Maybe. But that's what we have to do in order to stay in business. And I think that that's
it's a cost of doing business. Every year, your cost of doing business is going to go up. If you had a brick and mortar store on Main Street, USA, your rent would go up every year. Your electricity and your electric bill is going to go up every year. Your cost of getting fuel delivered to your business, if you have an oil delivery, that goes up every year. So I'm sorry, you cannot do the same thing year after year and expect that your costs of doing business are not going to go up.
But here's the thing too. You can't keep doing the same thing every year and expect your revenue to go up.
Right.
You have to adjust. You have to change. You have to bring in different items.
This is not the eBay that it was in the year of 1999 or 2000.
But it was only like that because there was nothing else like it.
Right.
That was never going to be sustainable.
I started out selling antiques and collectibles. I sold about 75%. I would put up about 100 auctions a week. All auctions, only auctions. I would sell 75%. I had a 75% sell through every week. I would have multiple bids on every auction. That's the days of doing that are gone. It's an entirely different animal these days. I don't put anything in auction. I put one thing in auction this week for the first time in like a year and a half.
It's just the way business works. The second there's something that can make you money, there's going to be a million other people jumping on board to do the same thing, and there's going to be more competition. And so eBay did their thing. It became super popular. Online purchasing became super popular. All these other companies, I mean, how many different platforms are there now where you can sell your stuff or buy your stuff? There's a million of them, so you just have to.
Most stuff gone by. I'm reading. I'm blind.
You guys, I don't know what's happening right now.
Most stuff gone by. She grew up in Cranston. I still use it all the time. See, that's what happens. We're in Cranston right now. In Cranston.
Heather wants to know, how do y'all feel about restocking fees? I would never do that. Well, first of all, we can't really feel any way about it anymore because June 1st, restocking fees are going to go away almost completely. I think there's like a couple categories.
I think electronics or something is you're still allowed. Maybe.
Or like antiques. I'm not entirely sure. There's a very small number of categories that you will be allowed to have a restocking fee. Honestly, again, like no returns. I don't buy stuff from anybody that has a restocking fee. That's ridiculous.
I would never.
Find other ways to recoup your costs. It's not going to, it's not going to keep people from returning stuff to you.
Raise your price when it comes back.
Yeah, it works. Restocking fees do nothing other than keep people from buying from you. So that's my opinion on that.
Let's see. The Robin is attesting I say wicked all the time. I do.
Yeah. Wicked awesome.
It's wicked hot. Wicked warm.
Awesome.
Wicked warm.
Yeah.
And she says my accent
I'm going to give me a lobster roll and it's going to be wicked awesome.
My accent is way thicker here. And wait till I have a couple of beers later.
Go ahead. You have those beers. Go ahead. All right. Any other questions, you guys? I don't know because I've been talking so much. And then
Monica. Okay, I didn't realize that was the same person. Sorry, Monica. I didn't know what your name was there. I know you're from
Which one's Monica?
She's in
no, which one's Monica on here?
Most stuff gone by.
Oh.
Yeah, I know she's from Rhode Island, and Monica Wagner, I believe is her last name, and she's my Facebook friend, and she's in Lorna's.
Okay. That I'm in. All right, cool.
eBay Rock Team.
Yep. Roll with the changes. Insert REO Speedwagon here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you.
Boss Up and List live show Q&A from New England. I didn't even realize that was the title she was using. Both shows.
That is the title. We got 50 people watching right now. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? Which ones how many questions did I miss? Oh, here we go. Question from Dorothy. If there's a reason why eBay has a new other or a new with defect in some categories only. You know, to be honest, I don't really know why they have differences. Like some just say new used, some say new other, some say new with defects, some say new without box.
I don't know what their reasoning
is.
New
with tags, new without tags. I think it's just a matter of like some stuff just isn't consistent. I don't know why though.
Yeah, I use it when I can. A lot of times the new other is on hard goods. I think I've noticed because a lot of times you could have something that's new, but the box has been opened.
Yeah, it could be that.
Like an electronics item or a household item. Like a lot of times I'll sell something that I find, and if I'm finding it and the box is sealed and I'm buying it at a used location and not off the shelf, I'm going to open it to take a photo and make sure it's complete. So I would use new other. And when you're opening something, it's no longer new in the box, but it's still a new item.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's when I use it. It's just not available in every category. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. I don't know, Dorothy.
Yeah.
I don't know why they choose to have that drop down in some categories, but not others.
Yeah.
Good question for eBay.
So Melissa Carver wants to know if anyone's had any issues with payment from best offer. So I'm assuming you're saying like people not paying. Okay, so I have best offer on all 1,700 of my listings. And to be honest, like I just closed a couple of non-paying cases, but for the most part, people pay. Do they always pay in a timely manner? No. But I gotta say, I don't care. I'm okay with that. I am not in a position where if I don't get paid for this item today, I'm not gonna have any food to eat. And so for me, it's like, you know, some people will say, well, I'm not layaway. And I'm like, you know what?
True.
If you want me to be layaway and then you're going to give me your money in a little while, I'm okay with that.
She had a sale that was like $2,900 or something like 2 months ago. I swear this woman had 75 different excuses.
It wasn't quite that much. It was like it was a dude and it was about $1,200. Let me tell you, it was a pain and I had to keep going back and forth. And then he finally paid and then he was like, well, I need to change my address. And normally I don't mind changing an address, but in the case of a $1,200 purchase, I'm like, you're not going to change your address. We're going to have to cancel this, even though it was so hard for me to get this payment. And I had to relist it and have him pay again, which took another week. So yes, it can be kind of a pain, but for the most part, this is like my whole thing, remove all obstacles. I want as many people as possible to be able to buy for me as possible. I want them to give me their money. And one of those ways is to have best offer, because for some people, they really want this item and maybe they don't get paid for a week. And you know what? I'd rather get $80 next week than not at all. And like I said, like I'm not freaking out because I don't get that payment today. Would I like to get it today? Of course I would like to get it today, but I would say probably 85% of the time they pay. I'm just pulling that out of nowhere, but for the most part, they do pay eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I had a guy that bought a $200 pair of shoes almost a week ago. He's driving me crazy. He hasn't paid yet, but he keeps messaging me.
Yeah.
So if he was just going to blow me off, there's no reason to message me. So I'm assuming he's going to pay eventually. I just told him, you know, if you don't pay before I leave, you're waiting 10 days to get your item. It's not my fault.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about the unpaid stuff. So anytime eBay does those flash sales, they've been doing them a lot lately. Mm-hmm. Anytime they do a flash sale, what I do is I will go to, if I have any stuff that's like outstanding for payments, I will go and message that buyer and I'll be like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but they're doing a flash sale today. Here's the code. If you pay by 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today, you're going to get another 15% off.
I do whatever offers too.
Yeah, and same thing with offers, but
you can remessage the person that sent you an offer.
And I've actually had people who hadn't paid like a week, like go, oh, awesome, and then they pay because they want to save an extra $10 or whatever it ends up being. So that's definitely one thing.
Let's do a couple more questions.
Does anyone who uses bulk shipping have an issue with it not doing Russian labels, but you can print a label just fine when you get print? Yeah, I don't know why it does that. It's weird. It'll say like, oh, you need to go to the post office to purchase this label.
It depends on the eBay does not allow shipping to a couple of different areas through eBay direct shipping. It has nothing to do with bulk necessarily.
No, but it lets you do it. Is what she's saying, because you'll be in like the bulk setting
because like
have your own stuff,
Russian Federation,
and you go to pay, and then it says, oh, we can't do this. You're going to have to go to the post office. Then when you go directly to the item in your orders page and you hit print shipping, it lets you do it.
That just happened to you the other day.
I found out why. It's because they had the wrong zip code. That was a domestic sale. But anyway, yeah, I don't know why it does that, because you would think that when you went to do it individually, it wouldn't let you do it either. But I don't know. It's weird.
The eBay technical questions.
we're not gonna
have any better answer than you are necessarily.
Yeah.
Is there a way in eBay? I'm trying to read. Cut it out. Is there a way in eBay to translate a message from a buyer? No. If you try to use their translator, if you can get it, sometimes when you're on desktop, it'll say translate it.
Yeah, you click it and then it like basically shows you the exact same language.
Go to
just Google Translate.
Google Translate or Babelfish.
I go to Google Translate. You put it in, it automatically detects what language it is and translates it into English. I just did it for something from Russia, I think.
Jimmy, send me a text message with the picture on that. Sure, I'll let you know.
Oh, you know what was really awesome? Somebody posted, I can't remember who it was, but somebody commented on the video, one of our videos, about how we had talked about modest skirts. And she doesn't really do clothing. I can't remember who it was.
It wasn't us, it was Lorna talked about modest skirts.
So, well, in our thing, we were talking about modest skirts. And I don't remember who, sorry, I don't remember who you were. But you commented, and you said you didn't do clothing normally. And then you had some local church thrift store that you went to, you had picked up 4. And then they had like 6 more that they gave you, pulled out of the back and gave you, and like you've already sold 4 of them. So I thought that was really super cool.
Yeah, I saw that message today, actually. Here's the thing. If you ask questions or there are messages on the YouTube videos, I don't necessarily see them unless I have to go in every day and check them.
All right. Jimmy says they sold a rare.
I know. I told him to text me a picture of the new one, and I'll let him know.
Well, but we can also talk about just the base. So you sold one full price of $41 in 3 days, and you have 2 more. How much higher should we go since it's a rare item? So she's going to tell you specifically about that shirt if you text her. But I will say there's nothing wrong with listing high. Like if you can't find any comps at all, I guess. I mean, I can't imagine that it's going to go for more than, I don't know. Price it at $150. Who knows? Like you can price it super high and put best offer on it and see what happens. I mean, if it's that rare and it's that something that people really want, they're going to message you. They're going to want it. So you can always experiment. If you have 2 more, definitely you're going to want higher than that. And who knows, maybe you'll list it higher and then you'll get nothing. And maybe it was just that one particular shirt that one particular buyer jumped in and got. What are you seeing over here?
There is the question on the RSS feeds.
We don't know anything about the RSS feeds. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm sorry. I just organically let stuff happen. Not even when I don't know how to buy Google AdWords and that stuff. I didn't even do that then. I'm sorry.
I don't know how to do a reset on it. I don't know.
I wish I had a better answer for you, but I'm sorry. Your Google is probably going to be better for you on that, or somebody that's just more into the technical stuff, and that's not us. We're into the product stuff for sure, but not the technical part.
Any idea why they're asking for UPC number now and listing new with tag? Well, I mean, I think they're assuming that
they've always asked for it.
You can still say does not apply.
Because a lot of times it won't even take the UPC number when you do have it, because those are store specific sometimes if you have a tag. So don't, if you have it, try to put it in. If it doesn't take it, put doesn't apply. That's all you have to do.
Lynn says that we can no longer reset or play with the RSS feed. So yeah, that I don't know if that's the case, but I'm going to assume that is. And then as far as Dorothy had asked about somebody saying that when selling internationally, you have to put exact weight in, like 1 pound, 15 ounces. You can't just use the 1 to 2 pound. That's not true. All of my stuff, anything over 1 pound, I round up to the next pound.
When you actually print your shipping label, yes, you have to put the exact weight in.
No,
yes.
you don't.
But not when you're listing. When you're listing, you can put whatever you want.
I don't do it in the shipping label either.
It depends on who you're using to ship.
Okay, well, if you're shipping through eBay.
If you're shipping through stamps, you have to be exact.
If you're shipping through eBay, you never have to put in the exact weight like that, because it's the price goes 8 ounces, up to 8 ounces is one price, then up to 2 pounds is another price, then 3, then 4, then 5. You never have to put the exact weight in when you're doing it through eBay. Because I mean, I never have, and it's never been a problem.
Yeah, if you have the UPC code, definitely try to put it in. Sometimes it's not going to take it. It doesn't affect your listing. But whenever you have the UPC code available, you should always use it if eBay accepts it. They're just trying to build the eBay catalog. Yeah. And the more UPC codes and the more information they have there, the better for the search engine, for you as a buyer, as a seller, and for the buyers. It just makes it easier. Yeah. When we're talking about used items or we're talking about clothing items, it's really not as necessary. Is really no buyer is looking up a piece of clothing.
Never at any time will we ever be required to put a UPC in for used clothing.
Yeah, people
it's just never going to happen. It's not there. And if eBay wants to continue to be able to sell unique items like that, then they're not going to require that because that would be nuts.
But when you have it, put it there, please.
Yeah. And Lynn says she sold every bowling shirt she's ever picked up. Yeah, bowling shirts are. Like I had to really anything like kind of bowling shirt, rockabilly type shirt, jacket.
She's right. Victoria's fading fast. I've been up since 4:30. I am kind of fading fast. I wasn't leaning over. I'm leaning over so I can read the screen, not because I'm trying to take a nap or I'm drunk. I'm drinking water. We don't drink cocktails while we're on the air. I'm drinking water.
All right. I want a cocktail.
Well, we can have one later, but
okay. Let's see. Any other
My mouth gets dry. I talk a lot.
Yeah, you do. Yappity. I, for one, am a woman of very few words. I don't really like to talk.
I don't even have words for that one. I have one word. It starts with bull.
Rude. Anyway, all right. So we're just about at 3 o'clock. So unless somebody has a very pressing question they need to ask right now, I think we're going to go hit one more.
Savers. We're going to Salvation Army. The Savers is all the way across town. We're going to hit traffic.
Just hit like a close Salvation Army.
Yeah.
So we're going to go check out the Salvation Army today. And then we have, I think we have a dinner date.
Dinner with my cousin and her boyfriend, who's my friend. And then we have
karaoke tonight.
We're doing some karaoke.
We're going to karaoke it up.
Maybe I'll get some
I'm going to do some serenading. Okay.
We like the karaoke.
Yes, I apparently Beginning of News says that I always look so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
It's because of these big blue eyes. That's really what it is. She always.
Is this attractive?
It's either she's on the meth or she's bright-eyed. she's always happy. That's what it is. She's always happy.
It's true. Most of the time,
she's always happy. So yeah, I mean, we've already been up and done breakfast and picked up the rental car and had a little gossip sesh with my friend that just came over. And now we've done the show and
live karaoke video. I don't know about that.
There may be a karaoke video. It won't be live, but there may be a karaoke video.
It's possible.
Miss Lorna knows we can karaoke. We like to sing.
All right, guys. So let's wrap up the show. So like I said, it is Boss Up and List Day. So if you are not in the Boss Facebook group, you are missing out big time.
Get in there.
So go ahead, join the group, come hang out with us. The rest of you, get back to your listing, get stuff done. We will be putting up some other videos this week. Like I said, we did some sourcing today. We're going to do some more. We're also going to do some tomorrow. So probably sometime tomorrow night, I will put up our sourcing video for the week. And then Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, which means 7 p.m. Sorry, not 7 p.m. 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 6 a.m. Big Drip Thrift Time. She has her own time zone, guys. We will be doing our Sunday live haul. And like I said, Victoria's already got some awesome stuff to share. Hopefully I will have better luck this afternoon. And
Rhode Islanders don't know how to look for good shoes, apparently.
That's a little hint, guys. Somebody may have cleaned up in the shoe department.
I did.
And please, if you are not a subscriber to my channel, please hit subscribe and make sure that you click on the little bell icon to make sure that you get notifications anytime I put up new content. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, and if you want to try out Sizely, please use the link below. They're awesome. And I think that's all I have to say.
That's about it.
I'm done talking, I think. Can you believe it?
I don't think that's possible.
Well, I'm going to go off the air here, and then I'm going to talk some more, guys, because you can't stop me. You just can't stop.
Shut her up.
All right, guys.
In her sleep.
Get back to listing and boss up.
Bye.